What is going on? Yeah, there it goes.
I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
All right.
Shout out to Demon Dave.
Yeah. What is going on, guys? Balor fan 85. Tired as all get out. It's been a long night. I'm here with the man of 1,000 vapes, Kevin.
Here I am.
We have actually you got anything you want to go by? Or?
Don't do it. What is that?
He's trying to go Roman Reigns.
We're not in fucking California.
Easy, Oos. All right. This is Dustin, not Byron Saxton. We'll come up with something for him. I'm sure he's going to pop up a little
We
bit.
actually like him a little better.
Yeah. It has been a long night. I mean,
But what night is it?
it is. Well, it's actually. Is it Saturday? It is Saturday.
What did we haven't gone to sleep yet. It's still Saturday.
No,
But what
I'm
did
so
we
ready for
just
bed.
get done watching?
We watched a little thing called AEW. Hold on a second. I'm curious. So, by the way, we watched AEW All Out.
We did.
Amazing show, but why in the world do you have a WWE belt for an AEW show?
We'll get to it.
Okay. So, all in all, the show was really good. There were some amazing spots. This guy right here did more homework than I've ever seen him do. Not that I've ever seen him do homework, but if he'd done it before, I'm sure this would be even greater than that. You did some notes.
I did, and here's the thing: we normally sit here
I
and
didn't even know you could read.
we talk. You see all the abbreviations?
Fair enough.
Is that crayon?
I mean, look at who was in this match.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't give me too much
Harking
credit
back
here.
to 1998.
But
It's crayon.
we
If you
normally
can't hear
sit
him, you
here.
gotta speak up just a little bit.
We normally sit here and we review belts and we shoot from the hip. Right now, we're going to review the All Out pay per view, and I know with my shoddy memory that I would leave one of these out. So I figured while the matches are going in order, go ahead and write down who was in it, who got the pinfall, who took the loss, whatever the case may be. I just didn't want to mess it up. So yeah, I went ahead and took notes throughout the paper.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is there's as far as I know, unless you know something I don't, there's not gonna be a belt review in this. We're just gonna go over, and we also have some big news. Once this is posted, you'll be able to take part in that big news.
Oh yeah,
And we'll get to that
and we
again.
kind of teased at it a little bit, and
Mr. Twitter man right here.
stuff just by the way, I was I got blocked by Joey Janela, which I cannot be more happy about because I don't like him.
Because when you join Twitter, what better goal than to get blocked by celebrities that, for the most part, people love? I don't think you love him.
I don't.
Okay, fair. I mean, fair enough. So do you want to go ahead and get the shout outs out of the way? Because there's some people here that
The last couple videos that we did, we were actually requested by a few people to give some shout outs, and starting with WCW Nation. I actually checked out some of your guys' videos. Really cool stuff. They have about 11,000 subscribers, so they're going pretty strong. They know what they're doing, but they requested a special shout out, and in return they do the same for us. But even without that, great channel, great video content, really something worth looking into. Going into the next one, Demon
his
Dave.
favorite.
Demon
His
Dave,
favorite.
you know how we feel about you, man.
Yeah, him just once. Just once. I knew that was you.
That was for you, Dave. Shout out to him. Shout
By the
out
way,
to
loving your videos, Demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, loving your videos.
Shout out to Steven Hammer. If you guys haven't seen his belt reviews, he's actually got a really cool setup. Just the setting of where he does his videos. He plugs all the belts, the prices, where you can find them. He really goes in depth to help you obtain a belt. If you see something he has that you liked, he really makes it really easy for you to find where it was and know exactly how much the price of that belt is.
And he also does magic.
Jesus.
That was the best I could do.
Moving on.
I tried.
Now this one we're having a little bit of trouble with.
One of us is dyslexic.
Please don't get upset. It's either Eddie and Andrea.
This is what he's thinking.
I think it's Eddie and Andrea because there's a guy and a girl in the picture.
I think it's Eddie and Ira.
It could
I'm
go
sure
either
I'm right
way.
on that.
He might be right, but either way, Eddie, Ira, Eddie and Andrea
This is already
Williams.
one of my favorite openings.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun here. Sleep deprivation mixed with good wrestling shows and great friends. you're not going to go wrong. But shout out to them as well.
Some bomb-ass chicken wings.
Now, the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, the
Cream of the crop. Yeah.
That actually wasn't quite as
wasn't bad. My ride or die, my best friend to the end, my main man, Mr. Ryan Turgey.
Oh, you did.
Or did I say the last name right?
The fantastic
Torgy. Okay. So yeah, that's a little inside joke. He blundered my name. I blundered his. It's a fun joke going back between the two. But anyway, those are all of our shout outs. Obviously, as always, make sure you check out TNT Belt Trading on Facebook.
It's cold.
Wrestling Memorabilia Club on Facebook. Wrestling Memorabilia Club Entertainment on YouTube. And Brothers of the Belt on Facebook. Josh Hammer.
TNT Belt Trading.
I already said that.
Cheers.
But so that's it for the shout outs. Let's go ahead and get into the pay-per-view. We're not going to go with the buy-in. We're just going to get straight into the pay-per-view. We started this pay-per-view.
We actually forgot the buy.
I wasn't going to say that.
I'm going to say it.
But yeah, we looked down at our watch.
We were
and
eating those bomb-ass chicken wings.
Yeah, we were being fat kids.
And your wife's spinach dip, which was amazing. And the
buffalo chicken dip.
Buffalo chicken dip.
We do things right around here. Or try to anyway. But getting into the first match, we had SCU versus Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. What were your thoughts on the match?
I said something that didn't go over well with you guys in that the same way Enzo and Cass was the big tag team of NXT and were the breakout stars, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are AEW's version of that. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I saying they have the same skills. It's apples and oranges. I'm just saying the same reaction and the same pops from the fans. They're going to be the tag team in the future for AEW, no doubt. SCU, love SCU, and I'm not so familiar with the other team.
SCU is a team that's been battle tested, tried and true. They've earned their stripes. They know what they're doing. You put them in there with a couple broomsticks, you're going to get a good match out of them. I expected nothing less from Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels. I just amazing team, amazing teamwork, amazing chemistry, amazing reaction with the crowd. Moving to the other team, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
Who y'all had the opportunity to meet for the Fallen.
Yep, got to meet them. Great dudes. Luchasaurus has a master's degree.
Yeah.
Very well-educated man. Very talented, both of them.
He is a smartosaurus Rex.
I'm not sold on Marco Stunt. I'm not. It's actually in my notes right here. Get rid of Stunt.
Oh, yeah, the little guy. I said the otother team.
I'm not a fan of him. I don't think I'm going to be a fan of him. I could be wrong. But I was a very big fan of the things Luchasaurus did in the ring. Jungle Boy actually lost some hair. He lost a little bit of hair.
Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, to me, have the best double team offense that I've seen in a long time.
I just see you make the reference to Enzo and Cass. I make the reference to Kane and X-Pac.
That's fair enough. But Kane and X-Pac didn't get over to the extent Enzo and Cass is, and that's exactly why Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy are being compared because of the reactions they're getting.
Now, I will say this. Marco Stunt did serve a very, very good purpose in this match.
He was a Spike Dudley.
Being that he's the one that they pinned.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If anybody on that team had to lose, I'm glad it was him. Anything you want to say about the match?
Talk loud.
All right. You said Enzo and Cass. Yours was
Kane and X-Pac.
To me, Jungle Boy and them, team hell no. A little bit, not much.
Yeah.
To quote Daniel Bryan, I can't get that loud because they're sleeping children. No.
I mean, I could see where he's getting at it with like the size of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus Kane and them, but Jungle Boy's not Daniel Bryan. He's not outgoing as he is. He's not as vocal. He's not as aggressive.
9021 no.
But that's the thing about professional wrestling. We all have our own opinions, and we don't have to agree on them.
Except his is wrong.
So that's your first match. Really good opening match.
You brought the first beer into the show that we've ever done.
Really set the pace. Really set the pace into a good show.
It was
I think we
fun.
were-
It was a really fun match.
Moving into match number 2, which I believe surprised all of us
We're 10 minutes in already.
how soon
This would be a long.
how
long
soon on the
video.
card it was. You had Kenny Omega versus the Bastard.
We're not worthy.
Let's just take a moment of silence for how great that match was.
And we're done. Okay, that was a great match.
There were a lot of parts of that match that made me go, he just effed himself up.
Hal Pog did not break his femur in like 15 different places.
The moonsault? The moonsault?
Yes.
The
Or
blind,
shatter his
the
shin.
blind moonsault. First off, you have Kenny Omega on the outside of the ring, and you have Pac on the top turnbuckle. Pac is facing away from Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega is facing away from Pac, so they're back to back. He never looks back. He just does the flip. That's why I call it a blind moonsault. And from the knee down, actually landed on the guardrail.
The guardrail.
It landed between the guardrails, got twisted up.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff in that match that made me go.
German suplexes like I've never seen before.
Yes.
I love the delayed suplex.
By the way, spoiler alert. Okay, no, we can finish. A lot of people haven't seen it yet. If they haven't already seen it,
Well, we're about 11 minutes late for that.
Well, nowadays
Your spoiler alert. That little thing right down here. The title.
Never be too cautious.
Spoiler alert.
Give me a pin.
Anyway, I'll go ahead and break out into this one first. I was very surprised with the finish.
Yeah, it was so sudden.
We ended this match about 15, 20 minutes in with Pac putting Kenny Omega to sleep. In what world did we think Kenny Omega in All Elite Wrestling would be 1 and 2?
Yeah. It's got to be building toward a redemption story.
I mean, they've really emphasized that wins and losses are going to matter. They are going to matter. It's going to mean something. Now I understand when they get on live TV, Kenny can put together a string of victories, which, if anybody can do it, let's be honest, it's Kenny Omega.
On the silver lining, though, at least it's not 50-50 broken. Whether on the positive or negative, at least
it was a very, 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 very surprise to me. I had Kenny Omega going over in the match, and even if Pac did go over, I did not think Kenny was going to go to sleep.
Which makes you wonder if Omega was slated to lose even against Moxley. I got a feeling he would have been slated to lose because Moxley is going to be one of the biggest stars in AEW. No matter how good Kenny Omega is, he doesn't have the star power that Moxley does. Do you think that could be a trend of WWE guys just beating Omega until Omega gets that star power?
I think when we get to that, when we start talking about that, we're starting to put Kenny Omega in a little bit of a jobber category.
But wouldn't that put him in the Daniel Bryan category too, where he puts on great matches and eventually he shows just how good he is and rises to the occasion?
In my opinion, seeing Omega in New Japan, seeing him in Ring of Honor, seeing what he is capable of and what he normally does do, I think what they're doing, in my opinion, is they're giving you everything with Jericho and Hangman. They're giving you everything with Cody. They're giving you everything with the Young Bucks. They have to hold some of it back. That way, when those start to not necessarily die out, but when they start to not so much live in the limelight, which very well deserved, they still have another element they can bring in. Okay, well, here's Kenny Omega who's been losing or barely winning, and now we're going to show you what he can do. Mm-hmm. And then when he dies out, now we're going to take Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and show you what they can do. Now we're going to take these guys and show you what they can do. So I think it's prioritizing.
Yeah, or they could build toward an Omega snap and have him be a massive heel. It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually you lose enough, you're going to snap.
Very possible. So that takes care of the first two matches
Great
we've had.
Matches so
very good. Definitely one-upping each other as they go along. Now, third match was the match I was looking forward to for many different reasons.
It did not disappoint.
We have a triple threat match, the Cracker Barrel Clash. Darby Allin versus Jimmy Havoc versus Jelly Janela, the human mustard packet. And there were so many things right with this match. And I'm just going to go ahead and snip to the end, then we'll come back. I'm going to Tarantino. Nope. Don't take this away from me. I'm going to Tarantino it a little bit. Jelly Janela gets pinned. Thank God.
What sounds like a better gimmick? The Cracker Barrel Clash or the Coal Miner's glove on a pole match? That's the way what is a crack?
It's a match sponsored by Cracker Barrel.
Then give it to the next match. The next match didn't mean anything to me at all. Why? I don't know. They did play it into the story.
Yeah, it was
Oh my
great.
God.
It was great.
Go ahead.
Starting out this match, you get
I've never seen
you get your typical entrances. I think the Jimmy Havoc entrance really set the stage. Now Darby Allin's great. Darby Allin is my
That's
second.
your man crush.
He's my second favorite wrestler in All Elite Wrestling, second only to Cody Rhodes. But he had his typical entrance come out, really menacing theme music, but sits down in the corner and just waits. But then Havoc comes out. I mean, as Marilyn Manson could get. I think Marilyn Manson watched and said, "Hey, I didn't know I was on TV."
You know who he kind of reminds me of?
Who's
a
that?
mix between Marilyn Manson and the bad guy from The Fifth Element with the crown halfway off. That's kind of who he reminds me
But
of.
he comes out and he just really sets the tone for this match. Is going to be a fight. And this match is going to have things in it that you're never going to see anywhere else. And man, did it ever.
Process it.
Then you get your typical Joey Janela coming out. Fuck him.
Do you want to bring up the open of this match first? Because, whoa.
The chair.
So, you start out in this match, and obviously there's going to be some kind of alliance, shortly lived or however long, whatever
Everybody
the case may
has
be.
something to prove in this match.
As soon as the bell rings, Havoc throws up the middle finger, dumps out, and just starts getting every chairs, tables, staple guns. Slides in the ring and staples himself just to show he doesn't feel any pain, leading to a temporary alliance and lapse in judgment for Darby Allin. I love you, man, but don't team with that turd show, Joey Janela. Anyway, they team up, they get him out of the ring, they duct tape Jimmy Havoc to the chair, and I'm thinking, you know what?
Hold on. They duct tape a guy to a chair. Not masking tape, not invisible tape.
Real duct tape.
Yeah. And I mean, they go around them several times. Mm-hmm. They get it in there good.
And then Darby Allin reaches over and pulls out this little yellow cup and starts to rattle it. Like, well, what could that be in there?
Oh, come on. You know exactly what that was.
Yeah.
We all knew exactly what that was.
He pours some thumbtacks in his hand, shoves them into Jimmy Havoc's mouth.
Not shoves them. He takes the nose. He goes old school, takes the nose where you have to open the mouth, and then goes, here you go.
And
if that's not bad enough,
Jelly Janela decides he's going to tape his mouth shut. He screws everything up. Everything.
He did. He really did.
He didn't even get the tape over the mouth, and then the tape didn't stick. It took him 2 tries to duct tape his mouth shut. But eventually they do tape the thumbtacks into his mouth, and they just leave him sit there. And Jelly Janela and Darby Allin start to have it out a little bit. They get in the ring, and Darby Allin climbs up to the top rope.
Taking up a lot of elbow space right now. Like,
goes to the top rope to do a moonsault, what looks like a moonsault onto the human mustard packet. But then duct tape to a chair. Havoc's like, I want it. Give it to me. He front flips out of the ring onto Jimmy Havoc with the duct tape and still on his mouth.
Thumbtacks on the ground.
Through the chair. This match had everything.
And that's just the beginning of the match.
We're only, a minute and a half into the match at this point? Now you have Darby Allin pulling out a skateboard that's got thumbtacks on the back of it, beating people with the skateboard, then goes he goes up to the top rope, ollies off, lands spike first onto Jelly Janela's back.
We're skipping a lot of high spots because there were just too many to count. We're just hitting the moments that are etched in our brain. I mean, I thought he had spikes on the bottom of that.
Yeah, I didn't know they were tacks at first.
And I didn't know they were removable because once he ollied on,
they stayed in his back. running down a few of the spots, coffin drop with a Cracker barrel on his back onto the steel steps. He missed, but Jesus Christ. Jelly Janela does a moonsault from the top rope out of the ring onto the bare floor and totally eats shit, thank God.
The biggest WTF moment of the night. He missed him by a mile.
Were they even in the same arena?
That could have been bad camera because maybe, if the camera was positioned right, they could have saw the move. But when he landed, all you saw was nothing. I mean, he wasn't even in the same zip code.
No. And then you have Jimmy Havoc putting Janela through one of the barrels. You have Janela taking a pan of biscuits to the head. It was a great match. I loved it.
You can't forget the table. When he put him through the table, when he was trying to flip him outside.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty hard.
So let me ask both of you guys this: what? Oh, we forgot the paper cuts.
Oh God, yes.
Paper cuts.
You know what? There's a lot of things I can look at on a TV. There's a few things I cannot look at on a TV. One thing is paper cuts. For some reason, I'm the most squeamish person in the world when it comes to paper cuts. Whether it's in between the webbing on or the mouth, I cannot look at it. I will not look at it.
And that's exactly what they did.
Exactly what they did. This was part backyard. Hold on, yeah. This goes back to the question I was going to previously ask. What is worse, duct tape around the mouth full of thumbtacks, or taking the shoes off and just completely eating it on the thumbtacks feet first?
I think thumbtacks in the feet.
Feet.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be. At least you can almost control in the mouth.
I mean, you can kind of slide your tongue to the back of your mouth so nothing goes down your throat. But
whatever you do, don't swallow.
You can't forget your favorite one, Jelly. There got stapled in the head.
Yeah, I mean, I anytime Jelly Janela gets, and I don't wish anybody to get hurt, and I don't wish he gets hurt. I don't wish he has any career-ending injuries. But if he never wins a match, that'd be great for me.
In a backyard spot fest, as Jim Cornette would probably. That would be more conservative, as to what he said. I'm sure he has a lot of words for that. I found it worked.
I'm going to just say this. In a company that has stressed that wins and losses matter, I'm glad Jelly Janela is 0-3.
Well, so do you want to lump him in there with Omega?
No.
Well, that's kind of where you're going on that.
No, I'm not. No, I am not. I have openly said that I love Omega, that I think Omega is great, that they're probably just prioritizing their talent, showing you a little bit at a time. There is nothing to show you with Joey Janela other than the fact that he's a waste of space and his father should have pulled out and shot him on the wall.
So the Boss from the Fifth Element won this match.
Yeah. Havoc gets the pin over Jelly Janela.
And again, this match was probably my sleeper pick that delivered. Well, it wasn't something that I didn't expect would deliver, but I didn't expect it to deliver as much as it did. Know what I mean?
Yeah. This by no means was your traditional wrestling match, but it was good.
I almost expected at one point, I think JR said, what else do they have? Or maybe one of you guys said, I almost expected them to go with a kitchen sink under the ring.
Yeah.
But they didn't. That would have added a little bit of comedy. Maybe it would have been too corny for some. I think it was just right, and I think it worked way better than I ever could have imagined. That's about all I got to say about that. I mean, we can talk about that match for a while.
It's actually my second favorite match of the night. My number 2 match.
We haven't hit the first one, right?
We have not.
Okay.
We have not.
So let's go to the bathroom break. The fourth match.
Match number 4 is a tag match between the Best Friends versus the Dark Order for a first round bye in the tag team tournament.
The best part about I'll take this. The best part about this match, and I felt the same way at Fight for the Fallen, is the Dark Order's entrance where the little minion dudes form the throne. I think that's clever. I really love that fact. And I like Chuck Taylor. I've seen quite a few of his moments in the indies, and he has fun. This match right here, I just wasn't into. This was probably and the next match were probably my least anticipated match.
Agreed.
The best part of the match was the ending bell.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I really have nothing to say about that match other than the Dark Order got the victory.
Yeah, honestly, if you didn't have that circled, I wouldn't have been able to tell you because I forgot.
That's really all I have to say about the match. I can't even tell you one. I can tell you one spot that happened. The guy from the Best Friends, not Trent Beretta, but the other one,
Chuck T.
he did a flip out of the ring and then ran up the ramp like he was leaving, and I wished he was leaving because I wanted the match to be over. But he ended up coming
I just
back.
noticed something. Was there a flip in every match over the top rope at some point? I'm almost positive there was.
I believe there was. Yeah.
Wow.
Nope. The women's match.
Yeah, there was.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, there was.
I couldn't tell you.
I stand corrected. Now,
Um,
speaking of the women's match, moving into match number.
Wait a minute. Now. You gonna pull the
Talk
spoiler alert?
louder. Quit mumbling.
You gonna pull the spoiler alert for that match at the end of it with the Best Friends?
Oh, yeah. No, that wasn't that one.
That
Yes, it
wasn't.
was.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was a ladder match.
It was the ladder match.
No, not that. You want me to put my sunglasses on
Go
and put
ahead.
my hands
Go
on?
ahead.
Oh! Orange
yeah,
Cassidy
yeah.
makes an appearance. That part I did actually like.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that we couldn't remember it tells you a lot, but I mean,
It was only because it was that match.
Orange Cassidy is growing on me. I've seen some of his stuff, and it's funny. It's funny in the same vein that there's a company that has ants, wrestlers dressed as ants, walking around, and they throw imaginary grenades. And
Do I expect him to be a major player with the gimmick he's using? Absolutely not. But does he bring some kind of comedic element? Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean,
He got a decent pop.
oh, you got a great pop.
He did.
People love him.
Yeah.
People love him.
Moving into match number 5, we had one Chinese girl versus another Chinese girl, and
One of his name was Riho, and that's nothing against them because
no, I just can't pronounce them.
we've seen some of their matches. I actually like Riho. I just wasn't into it, and the reason I wasn't into it is a reason I'm not going to get into on this YouTube show. I'm not really into. I love a lot of the women wrestlers, but I'm not really digging. I didn't really dig the belt, and I'm not really digging the division as a whole. But I'm not getting into that reason.
Yeah.
We'll just keep it at that.
Yeah.
Riho, congratulations.
We're gonna keep our political views out of this and our personal views, however you want to categorize it. But
I really hope Riho wins this title and becomes a women's champion.
Women's champion, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Anyways,
moving into match number 6 now.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Live long and prosper.
Moving into match number 6 now. The reason that match number 4 and 5 were okay is because, we talked about how much we like the triple threat match and that every good pay-per-view takes you on that roller coaster. That triple threat took us up. We had to come down in order to go back up, and God did we ever. Match number 6 is Cody Rhodes
with MJ Spock
versus Shawn Spears.
With the totally best person I've ever seen.
Starting out first, you open up, and it's not a traditional entrance. They go straight from the video package to Shawn Spears sitting at the top of a ramp in the same chair that he hit Cody with, and I loved it. I loved it. They gave him his time and then totally eased him from the back. It was great. But man,
the subtle build to the realization that was the same chair that gave Cody Rhodes 10 or 12 staples. You knew it right away. I think you and
well, they said that it was the same chair, and I said if it is the same chair, it would have been dented. And then he turned it because the glare on the chair stopped you from seeing it. But when you turned it, you actually seen it was caved in. And then the announcer started talking about it. It was in fact the same chair, which I thought was great.
And then the slow walk in by Tully. Tully gets down there. He's a mentor. Talks in his ear for a little bit, and then takes off the
hood, and you seen the whiteout contacts. I mean, it was great. Even his ring gear looked amazing.
Yeah. It was,
then moving into Cody's entrance.
Yeah.
Cody's entrance. That was I've said this before, but less is more.
I'm not a Star Trek guy, but damn,
that entrance was awesome.
I mean, you had Brandy as the what was her name? A Hulu or something. Who rocked that silver,
I mean, I can't even look at a thing of aluminum foil now without getting a half chub.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And DDP is Captain Yoga.
DDP, then you had MJF.
MJ Spock. He didn't have the ears, but
MJF. Anyway, I really like the entrances. The entrances were done really good. Now, I did actually put down a couple notes on this one, just so I didn't forget any of them. I thought the entrances were good. We already hit that. Cody Rhodes can only choose one person to stay in his corner, and he goes with MJF.
That could have been a great deal for somebody.
Yeah.
But I think it worked. I think it
I thought in the beginning
the storyline progresses.
I thought in the beginning MJF was failing as a cornerman just because all the things Tully was able to do and MJF didn't, but they really played. I don't think it so much made MJF in hindsight's always 20/20.
He definitely was not a heel,
but it didn't look. Well, he never is when Cody's
and he
looking.
came off like a doofus.
He did, but I think the reason that MJF looked so inexperienced in this wasn't to play to his ignorance as it was, okay, Tully's getting away with this, but this guy can't. It played to the brain power of Tully, in my opinion.
To me, they wanted to go old school. I do miss the old school aspect where the good guy gets up and it causes the bad guys to do it. But it just it happened so many times within the first 10 minutes that it really came off that MJF didn't know what the hell he was doing.
So you have Tully getting involved in many different ways, distracting the ref, actually putting hands on Cody.
Helping in the figure four, the reverse figure four.
Mm-hmm. And then you have Sean Spears.
Yeah, that was really clever.
I was just getting to that one. You had Sean Spears remove Cody's weight belt, and he goes to hit him with it. And you see Tully fidgeting around, and Earl Hebner was the ref, wasn't he?
Yes.
Earl Hebner backs him into the corner, Sean Spears into the corner, and he's taking the belt from him. Well, while he's taking the belt from this hand, Tully is slipping his actual belt into his other hand, and as Earl Hebner is disposing of the weight belt, Cody takes a couple shots from Tully's actual belt.
And then Cody hulks up in the best way I think I've ever seen Cody hulk up. Stands up, takes a legit belt shot.
To the shoulder.
Yeah, it looked like face from the camera, but it was shoulder.
And then just boots Spears' head off. That was the most
intensity I think I've ever seen out of Cody. And one of the best examples of how you can get your comeback. It was a really great comeback.
Now, I actually called this next spot, not the way it happened, but when they said Cody can only have one person stay, and I knew Tully was going to be Sean's, I told my friends, I said, wouldn't it be funny if this person was in Cody's corner? Did I not?
You did.
Well, you have Cody on the outside. The ref is tied up with MJF somewhere, and you have Cody on the outside just taking it from Tully. And we did have a moment where Tully and MJF went hands-on with each other. But while Tully is giving it to Cody on the outside, down the ramp, into the ring, comes none other than Double A Arn Anderson, Tully's tag team partner.
Half of the old Brain Buster.
He comes in, spine buster to Sean.
That spine buster was awesome.
Tully loses his mind to the point where he gives up. Doesn't really give up on Sean, but he's so distracted. He doesn't chase Arn, but he's walking after him. Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And he keeps going after him. Flashback to the ring. Sean takes a great crossroads, sells it perfectly, takes it perfectly. 1, 2, 3. Cody wins, and it was a victory that I think we all wanted to see. There were a few points where, if Sean wins, this could lead to a long rivalry, which by that match, a rivalry between them two would be great. Yeah, and I definitely want to see them do it again.
They also teased at the end, MJ Spock picked up a chair, teased a little bit.
I don't think it was so much a tease that he was going to hit Cody.
It was a tease.
I think it was meant for Sean.
It was a tease. There's definitely going to be a really good feud down the road between those two.
Now, Sean also, he sold that from Arn. He sold it. Perfect.
Yeah, Arn Anderson has the second best spine buster in wrestling.
And Sean just was out there with a perfect sell on it.
You know who has the best spine buster in wrestling?
I think I know who you're gonna say, but
I'm gonna
hold on. Let me just so I can't change my answer. Who did you say?
The Rock.
Oh. Oh.
I didn't get it. I went with Dustin Rhodes.
No, when The Rock picks you up, he kicks that knee out right up under the people, just like that extra oomph, and then he takes them down.
I've always liked Dustin
There's nothing
Rhodes.
wrong with Dustin's spine buster, but I just always like that extra detail that The Rock throws in there.
Yeah. Match was great. Match was I give it a good 4.5, 5-star match.
There was one thing missing, and actually it was the same thing out of the second match, or I'm sorry, the third match, the triple threat hardcore match. Kyle, our buddy Kyle, you'll meet Kyle eventually.
Eventually.
He was calling for it. You were calling for it. I figured it would definitely happen in this. We were expecting blood.
Yeah.
It didn't happen, and you'll find out why in a little while. But no blood so far, with the exception of a staple here and there, a tack here and there. Even the paper cuts didn't bleed, but not really any blood.
Going into match number 7, where we actually get our first amount of noticeable blood. Not just a dribble or two, but now we have the Young Bucks versus Lucha Brothers in the ladder match. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my match of the night. This was my 5-star match of the night. Did no wrong. I mean, you had so much going on. I'm going to try to keep this in order. You have crazy high spots from the jump. You have crazy high spots from the moment that bell rang. But did you expect anything less?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, this is one of the few matches where it was just hard to keep up with. I mean, if they took a rest period, it was like a half a second, and then they went right back into it. The only time there was a real rest was toward the end, where
they almost died.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no other way to put that.
Yeah.
You had some really good spots in the match.
Is it funny just talking about this? Like, I'm glistening. I'm starting to sweat.
Pentagon is on one side of the ladder. Matt Jackson is on the other side of the ladder.
On opposite sides of the ring, on the outside.
Instead of that was Phoenix and Nick.
Okay, you're right.
But this is Pentagon and Matt. And instead of doing, your sunset flip power bomb or something like that, Pentagon Jr. leaps around the ladder and sling blades Matt Jackson to the canvas. I've never seen it before. Really want to see it again. Loved that spot.
What was better, that spot or Hardy getting speared off of the hanging on the belt for you? Because in my opinion, when you talk about really epic ladder matches, to me that's one of the highest spots you can go.
But that was also like the first time you ever seen it.
I know. That's why it's up there.
But with the Hardy match and stuff, there was not that many high points as was in this match.
Yeah,
I still got to go with the spear from the belt.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Because it's got edge in it, of course. But that's I kind of wanted your opinion on that as far as what was because that was an epic high spot.
I feel like that match was so far above its time.
Yeah.
That we kind of expect crazy stuff to happen when you get these kind of people in a ladder match. At that time, that wasn't even on anybody's radar.
So it's nice to look back.
Yeah.
And look at that.
Moving along, you had a crazy table spot where you see Nick Jackson setting up 2 tables outside the ring. And he goes up for the belts a little bit later, and Pentagon goes to tip the ladder over, and Nick Jackson hits one table and a quarter of the other table, but only one table breaks. A really nasty bump. I thought he died.
I thought he cut his thumb off. I thought he slit his wrist. You could tell there was blood on his hand, like there was a deep gash somewhere on one arm. To me, it looked like the Bob Holly episode where Bob Holly went through a table, and just that I don't know what you call just that border around the table, but when you break it, it stays strong.
Yeah.
It stays. That's what I think he caught his hand on, and I think that's what sliced him open.
Now I really like through the ladders when they went through the ladders.
Yeah,
There were some good spots.
Yeah. There was a package pile driver
Oh
spot.
my god!
Where
The
Pentagon
ladder
Jr.
did not
The
give.
ladder was set up between the guardrail and the apron of the ring. Pentagon gets Matt Jackson up in a package pile driver position, and Ray Phoenix goes to the top of the turnbuckle and jumps off and double foot stomps right to the back door of Matt Jackson.
He's going to need a prostate exam.
And all three men hit the ladder. I'm telling you guys right now, I've been hitting the gym lately, and my one goal is to be as strong as that daggum ladder.
Yeah.
I'm getting there, but I ain't there yet because that ladder didn't budge.
I don't know if y'all seen Botchamania, but you've got the eye on the table spot. That is eye on the ladder. I mean, that ladder did not give at all.
Not even a buckle.
It had spinach.
The match closes when it's coming to a close. You have Matt and Pentagon Jr. at the top of the ladder, and Matt pulls off Pentagon's mask.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that?
It worked out perfect because he was still able to keep his face. You know what? Most time when a mask comes off, you're incapacitated for a little bit. He stayed in the match. He kept working. You don't see that very often. I'm down with that.
But it's one of those taboo things that a lot of people. I mean, even the crowd immediately.
No, yeah, it got heat. But instead of incapacitating that superstar, he kept.
It was a clever way to stop him.
But the
Just like
best part
this.
about Pentagon is it didn't stop him.
No,
Yeah,
Pentagon dumped. Which one was? Who was on the ladder?
one of
it was
them.
Matt.
Matt off the ladder, between the ladder as it was open, onto the support in the middle.
Yeah,
Like I said, that match was so hard to just keep track of.
and that was before the pile driver spot.
Yeah,
That was right before it.
and that was right after the table spot because was it Matt or Nick out there, the one that fell through the tables? He was still out there. I thought he was done because I thought he had committed suicide out there. I gotta hand it to him. That was one hell of a match.
Oh, it was great. 5-star by far. Pentagon, the Lucha Brothers end up getting the win. They're in the middle of celebrating. And what would an AEW pay-per-view be without a surprise entrance?
Yeah.
Who thought we were going to see
Loss.
Bill
Body
Clinton
plus. Oh,
and JFK?
oh,
run into the
ring. Literally.
I had such a Point Break flashback. Oh,
It reminded me of Fun with Dick and Jane.
I can see that too.
But
Who was
anyway,
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey was Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
But anyway, they rip off the mask and it ends up being the members of LAX.
Loss. Body plus.
It was great. It was awesome.
It was. The surprises in this show weren't the best, but they did deliver. I'll give them that.
Less is more.
Yeah.
You don't have to have your home
But-
run hits every time.
What I was expecting with this is the go home show. It's funny, you have go home shows leading into pay per views. This was the go home pay per view leading into the debut of the show.
Mhm.
So I was I think we all were expecting just a little bit more as far as the surprises go.
Yep.
But they definitely made up in match quality,
Now,
except for this one, in my opinion.
moving into our main event of the evening, you have Hangman Adam Page versus Chris Jericho to crown the first ever All Elite Wrestling World Heavyweight
By the
Champion.
way-
Now, going back to the beginning of the video, you asked me, well, why do you have a WWE belt when we're reviewing AEW? And my answer is this: in honor of Chris Jericho becoming the first ever champion of All Elite Wrestling, I don't have an AEW belt. So I brought out one of my favorite titles that Chris Jericho ever won.
You won that title, but didn't wear that belt.
I know.
Okay, as long as you know, you could
I do.
have brought the big belt out.
I understand.
Um,
But when you think of Intercontinental Champions,
I think of the Oval IC title.
you're right. But what I'm getting at is when you think of some of the great Intercontinental Champions, yes, he didn't hold this version, but he was one of the best Intercontinental Champions ever. That's why I had this belt. And hell, what would one of our videos be if we didn't at least show a belt?
By the way, hold on. This is the point where we might as well go ahead. So I mentioned earlier, I didn't really care for the women's AEW title that was finally debuted tonight. Not a fan of it at all.
It's really small,
Yeah,
egg shaped.
but what that lacks, the AEW title more than makes up for. AEW title is such a beautiful
It
title.
really is.
Every time I look at it, I want to say it's way too blinged out, but it gets a pass. It's a beautiful title.
One of the spots I got to give to AEW is for the main event. You have a female referee. You don't hear that.
Because it never happened.
And it's not even like it was a women's title match. It was the world title match
Yeah.
between two men with a female referee. They're really giving everybody a chance. I mean, they gave Jelly Janela a contract, so
You're so jealous that he blocked you.
I don't care that he
Are
blocked
you
me.
jelly of jelly?
I don't care that he blocked me.
Kevin is jelly of jelly.
I am not. I'm telling you right now, if I ever looked anything like Jelly Janela, if I ever acted like the human mustard packet, if I ever, yeah, because you're referring to a man with no muscle tone. I swear to God,
You got a little, don't worry.
I was talking about him.
God. I can tell we're tired. We are tired.
Mr. Jelly Janela Sr.,
It's okay, Eddie and Andrea.
you should have pulled out and shot on the wall.
Ooh.
You should have whacked him off in a tube sock and saved us all the embarrassment of seeing him.
I'm sweating even more now. Jeez.
It's the quicker picker upper.
Anyway,
Okay, so we're
Somebody call 911.
getting into the main event.
oh my
This
god.
is a fast-paced match.
And we are 46 minutes into this.
Yeah. So let's go and wrap this up.
Well, a horse is a horse, of course.
That was a good entrance by
You
the
have
way.
Adam Page coming out on a horse.
Who I could have sworn that horse was almost fixing a donkey kick the person behind it. You got ahead. That was a good horse. I mean, you had a huge crowd like that. Horse was very calm.
It gave you exactly what you'd expect. We had some buckshot lariats. We had some dead eyes. We had a great code breaker where Adam Page did a moonsault off the apron and Jericho catches him in a code breaker. Didn't necessarily land the right way, but hell, it was a great. You take anybody of any skill set, and that's a tough spot to pull off.
And that match had what? What's the one thing the other matches were lacking?
It had color.
And it had a pretty good bit. I mean, it wasn't Stone Cold WrestleMania 13.
Now, I do give credit to the referee. She did do her job right, but the passing of the blade was very, very obvious.
Well, you know. All in all, to me, the match could have been a lot better. It told a pretty good story. I think it could have been better. And is that saying anything? You know, Hangman Page is a stud. Jericho held his own, but you can tell age is starting to catch up to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is going to be a great thing to have Jericho as your first AEW champion, because you have one of the best heels in the business, and you have one of the best chases that we could possibly see in wrestling history in a long time. Adam Page is becoming one of the real faces of wrestling, which is weird because everybody expected when AEW started and Omega signed. I think everybody was expecting Omega in this spot, and
Guilty.
I gotta hand it to them. They're gonna make a homegrown star right off the bat. They're gonna make a Goldberg right off the bat and not take, I gotta hand it to them on that. And I like Paige. I've met him. You've met him. Really nice guy.
Oh yeah. So overall, it was the best pay-per-view I've seen since Double or Nothing. Wasn't as good as Double or Nothing, but I mean they're definitely making progress. They're making strides in the right areas. The announcing was so
You had
good.
something that I hadn't heard. I don't say that word. I don't say that phrase at all.
Cursing. From the
No.
The
I
GD.
curse. Yes, the GD. We're down home Southern people. We don't use that terminology here in the South.
You can't forget JR's new saying. Trying to catch him is like trying to pour smoke into a keyhole.
I'm tired of you repeating that saying.
I don't care.
I've heard you say it like 9 times
And
tonight.
I've also heard him say that a lot.
but it's awesome.
Well, you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. JR hasn't been in in that area long enough. A lot of his old stuff is new again. I mean, that's good. This is the longest video we've done.
It is.
It is crazy, and I hope that you guys have watched every minute of it because this is. I know when we do a good video. There's a lot of good videos that we've done that I think they should have more views because I think we delivered gold. There's a lot of videos I think that, I'm surprised that we have the views we have, but this is probably one of the funniest videos I think I've done.
Yeah.
This and Fight for the Fallen are definitely up there.
Now that's out of the way, we reviewed the pay-per-view from start to finish.
Oh, yeah.
Here is our big announcement. Are you ready for this? We have decided to go and pull the trigger on
a Facebook group.
We're going to give it a shot. By the time you watch this video, by the time you get to the end of it, I want you to go on Facebook. I want you to look up in the little search bar and type in Wrestling Review Society. And that is going to be, we're not going to deal with buying, trading, and selling. There's plenty of other pages who are doing amazing jobs with that. Ryan, Josh, Tony, you guys are just the top of the list for me. This is just going to be a place where we review anything wrestling, pay-per-views, plaques, autographs, signed pictures, belts, ticket stubs, anything to do with any kind of wrestling.
If you have a collection, if you have even one piece at home that you want to show off,
we want to see it.
Come to Wrestling Review Society. You know what? I love going into the groups, and I love and the groups that we've mentioned are drama free. But if we want to throw our name into that hat because I think we've got something good, and I think what we can provide, and this is going to be, first off, come to the page with manners. We're not going to tolerate bullying. We're not going to tolerate anything.
We know
like
where
that.
the block and delete buttons are, and we will use them. Look, we're just trying to give this a shot. We want this to be a place where anybody can come talk about their collection, whether it be one piece, whether it be a million pieces, whether you have the Holy Grail Ryan towards your collection of a basement full of stuff. Ryan, I love your collection, man.
Oh, there's another guy, Patrick Mazzone.
Yeah.
Really great collection, too. But here's the deal.
Leave your drama at the door.
Yeah.
We don't want it.
People post pictures all the time of their collections. You know what? I'd love to see this group do video reviews. I'd love for you take a few seconds if you got something. Hey, I got this piece of paper signed by the Vape Master. This is his notes from.
Don't let them see my incorrect spelling.
They didn't see it. The pixelation is terrible on here. You know what? Here, I want to show this off for a few minutes. If you've got anything, we want to do that, and I think it'll be one of the first if everybody can just a minute or two, and we'll be posting our videos here, and we'll be posting videos in the review page, and we may take this over to my house and show some of the stuff in the wrestling room. We may take this in his living room and show his setup. You've got a video you've already put out in some of the other groups of you've got a pretty cool setup now. You've got your big screen TV and you've got belts all the way around it. I've got the room. And, it doesn't matter what you have, if it's wrestling related or if you want to review one show, if you want to review one angle, if you want to review one moment in the history of professional wrestling, do it. I mean, come here to Wrestling Review Society. We'll welcome you with open arms, and we'll be looking for some moderators, and we'll see what's going on. Hopefully we won't need that many moderators because if you guys are fans of us, you're good people. We can already tell.
But we're looking at getting that started. By the time you watch this video, the page will be up, ready to go. Once again, shout-outs to WCW Nation, Demon Dave, Stephen Hammer, Eddie and Ira, Eddie, Andrea Williams, and Mr. Ryan Tipura. Ryan, towards you, I love you, man.
All right. With that being said, this is the longest video we've done, and I know we're all tired. We're all ready to go, or you're already home. We're ready to go home. We will catch you guys down the road. Get him.